Today in the crypto space, we're seeing the market still looking strong. Bitcoin at about $67,000, up approximately 2.5%, and Ethereum looking pretty good above the $3,000 mark, up approximately 4.5%. The rest of the crypto space, the altcoins are looking pretty good. Solana, ADA, AVAX, and many other are really moving to the upside here today, up approximately 5%, give or take. However, guys, the question is this party just getting started? Are we going to get a continuation to the upside? In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one project that is looking pretty good, and I feel like it's going to continue moving up, and that project is called ICP. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome on the channel. We talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's happening here throughout the market. We see that the overall market cap is still climbing to slightly higher levels. It is still around the $2.5 trillion market cap, but still pretty good, still doing great. Where else do we go here? Let's look at the volume. The volume right now is kind of bottoming out just a little bit. The question is, do we go for another spike of volume? And if we do, I can anticipate that the overall market cap will continue running, which will be obviously very healthy for the crypto space. A lot of us think that we are, in a bull run, and maybe we are in the beginning of another leg to the upside, which would be super healthy here for the market. Of course, we want to see the market wake up. We want the altcoin market to wake up, because Bitcoin did a very good job already claiming those highs, but we want the altcoins to kind of wake up and get a chance here. Let's see what's going on here with the market. Ethereum is looking pretty good here today, outperforming Bitcoin. It's up 4.5%, which is pretty good, a good indication. Now, of course, tonight we'll take a look at the Bitcoin dominance. We'll take a look at Bitcoin again tonight, at Ethereum. We'll take a look at the general market. I also want to talk about microvision chain space tonight. Guys, join the live stream. It's going to be a great live stream. I want to talk about what's going on with space, because it's definitely dumping down, and I want to talk about what could we expect here for that project. And of course, a lot of projects are taking a bit of a hit based on FUD, and it happens all the time. However, guys, we have to be able to decipher between actual FUD and actual real facts. Like, facts sometimes do bring down price, but FUD generally creates a very undervalued scenario that we could take advantage of. So we'll talk about that tonight. Let's continue looking through this market. BNB looking pretty good here as it kind of forms a nice double bottom. Solana's looking great. It's up to $170, which is pretty good. Is it going to reclaim its previous highs? Most likely. It might even come back down for a retracement, but nonetheless, overall, I'm seeing Solana obviously going to continue to those higher levels. Toncoin in the last little bit has been looking a bit slumpy. That structure that it's kind of forming at the current moment doesn't look the greatest, you got to admit. Right? If you start breaking to lower levels, making those lower lows and lower highs, and continuing that structure, that rollover type of structure, we start to look at its market cap. It is a pretty large market cap right now. Of course, $23 billion market cap, but it's pretty large. If we do come down, it might justify a bit of a buy. We'll see what happens there. Dogecoin still grinding to the upside, guys. It does look like it's an ascending type of wedge or triangular formation. It does look really good. It is a bullish structure nonetheless. Cardano's looking strong, 5% to the upside, finally waking up. AVAX doing great. A lot of the large caps are waking up. Near Protocol obviously has been doing great. It's kind of going sideways today. We have Chainlink running 8.4%. Guys, we bought the bottom on Chainlink. Guys, if you've been following me on the channel here for the last little while, you know that I've been following Chainlink at the right time. When it was going through that horizontal support for 500 days, we were buying bottoms of the channel. Guys, now we're seeing Chainlink wake up, do its thing. It's up almost 20% in the last 7 days. Chainlink is a great project, obviously an oracle that is necessary for a lot of the layer 2s, the projects built on Ethereum. And that's obviously a very necessary thing, the oracle narrative is not one to look over. Really, you should be scaling in to the oracle narrative. Polygon looking pretty good. Another good indication of the Ethereum narrative. Do we see Polygon wake up? Litecoin is still grinding to the upside. Today I want to talk about ICP, because big picture ICP looks pretty good. You know, it does look really, really good. Yes, it's a $5.6 billion market cap. Yes, it's pretty large, but for its ecosystem, for what it's trying to achieve, ICP, you know, really, the market cap, it could go up much higher. Okay. And of course, if it achieves its goals, we're going to expect a lot of utility of that token. And if the utility, you know, has value, expect people to want to buy and expect the price to go up, expect, you know, the market cap to obviously increase. So I'm hoping that we can, you know, identify a structure here in this video to kind of give us a bit of a sense of a bullish stance that we could see ICP run to the upside and continue to the upside. Because seeing the market waking up like this keeps me really, really bullish. Uniswap looking pretty good, and the rest of the crypto space, as you can see, either is finally getting its pop to the upside and continue its grind, or maybe finding its bottom, like Render's, you know, desperately trying to find its double bottom. But we see, like many other projects, in fact, I'm seeing a bit of a trend here. I'm seeing the Ethereum based projects right now are leading the way, you know, are definitely doing their thing. Now, are we finally potentially going to see an altcoin season when we least expect it? We're going to see the altcoins run, maybe here, guys. We could see it happen. This is why in the last little while I have been scaling into altcoins. I am not waiting for the Ethereum narrative to wake up to finally see an altcoin season. I've been scaling in regardless, because at the end of the day, it's bound to happen. The question is when, and the when is not something that I'm willing to time. I'm just going to be DCing on red days, a great accumulation horizontal support zones. And we do see Arweave, we see stacks looking pretty good, and a lot of the projects, the graph is waking up. It's up 7% today. Good stuff for the graph, and a lot of project optimism is doing good. Sui, a lot of good projects, guys, and I'm kind of happy that I've been scaling in the last little while, or else I would have been missing out, guys, missing out. And of course, guys, if you feel like you're missing out, don't FOMO. You know, be very careful here, okay? Because ultimately, we do get peaks and valleys in the market. Number one, we could get a bit of a retracement at any moment. However, ultimately, big picture, start zooming out. You'll see that we haven't even left the station here. Even on a green day like today, we haven't left the station. So consider DCAing on your bullish projects that you feel have great fundamentals, because ultimately we did not leave the station. Look at Ondo, 13.5% to the upside. I'm glad I've been scaling into Ondo. It's doing pretty good here. I like that one. So if you look at all the bullish projects that we've been talking about here on the channel in the last little while, they've been doing really good. What else do we have? We've been doing good. Ultimately, the market is green, the market is bullish, the market is giving us gains, which is great. And of course, let's take a look at what Bitcoin has to tell us. Let's take a look. I know you're here to talk about charts, so let's begin. Bitcoin ultimately showing a lot of strength here, showing a lot of interest in reclaiming its previous high. Now, do we go back to the previous high? Do we get a rejection on the previous high? Guys, prepare, because ultimately Bitcoin could get to that level right around this zone, which could be a level of which we see a bit of profit taking within the structure. Why? Because this is a bullish structure, of course, a bull flag, but there's no guarantee that we are going to break out bullish. And at this rate, if we do hit that previous high and you did buy the bottom, taking the risk at these bottoms, you want to basically exit a bit of your position to call yourself a profitable trader. All right, guys, let's talk about this in a little bit more detail. What am I saying here? I'm basically saying, look, if we get to this level, there's nothing wrong with taking a bit of profit. 71,000, 72,000. If you see a bit of a reaction, nothing wrong with scraping off the top. Take a bit of profit, 10%. Take 10% off the top. Get your stop loss, trail it well into profit. That would be the best option, at least 50% of the way. That way you can, if we do roll over and come back to the bottom of the range, it stops you out. You call yourself a profitable trader and call it a day, right? That's the reality. However, if you do trail up that stop loss, particularly right underneath support, and we do eventually break out of this bullish structure, guys, that stop loss wouldn't even, get tested. And in fact, that 10% of profits that you took wouldn't even really matter, because we're going to start looking for higher levels. and your portfolio or your position will definitely be in the green. Because usually after a consolidation like this, we get an expansion, and expansions are great because that's where you get the majority of the gains, not these little moves within the structure. Within the structure, you're just getting the setup in preparation for the magic, which is when we get the expansion. Let's look at the expansion waves. You can see that the bearish expansion to the downside, and I'll show you this in a second. Let me kind of like stretch this out a second. You'll see that we've finished the bearish expansion. It's pretty much done. We've tapered in, we're done. Now do we start building a green expansion to the upside, where we start to see the Bitcoin price run up and it break out of the structure? Guys, it's going to be super bullish. If it does happen, of course, for the rest of the market as well, the altcoins should be following Bitcoin's lead. And look at the trend, guys. The trend got its bullish divergence with that green dot. Green dot giving me confluence, EMAs facing up, green histogram bars to the upside. A lot of good indication that the trend has bottomed out here. Now, if we go back to the price action, obviously price action is king. I remain in a bullish stance as long as we are above 61,000, 60,500, right around this thick white line. If we stay above it, I have no choice but to remain in a bullish stance and expect the market to continue moving up and ultimately even breaking out of the structure to the upside, like I mentioned before. Just keep in mind that there's a lot of market participation in this level, and that can give you a bit of an indication that individuals are getting active here and ultimately accumulating and potentially looking for that continuation to the upside. Now, also, from a bearish perspective, understand that there is a volume gap below, that if we do break down and we do come down for a lower low, guys, we're going to hit 52K. That's the level. That's what the next stop that I'm looking for. But in this current scenario, there's no way that I can be bearish. We're trying to break the previous high, the structure, breaking the character of this current structure. Guys, that's what we're trying to do. If we break above this previous high, let me zoom in a little bit more so you can see what I'm talking about. If we break above this previous high, the reality is we're making a higher high after a higher low, the higher high, higher low. The trend is your friend. Up we go. And again, back to the bullish thesis, we start breaking out of previous highs and getting into price discovery again. Guys, bullish. Okay, so at this current state, I am bullish. I remain bullish until invalidated. And again, that's about 61,000, give or take. That's my invalidation. All right, guys, let's jump into the chart for today. ICP, what's going on here? Given that Bitcoin is looking bullish, we do have to have a bit of a bullish outlook on the altcoins as well. And today is a great day because we do see Ethereum doing very well. And in fact, outperforming Bitcoin. Okay, so that's a really good thing because usually, traditionally, when we do see Ethereum show strength, it's a sign of a potential altcoin season. Bitcoin dominance is slightly falling, nothing major, but slightly falling, which is good. We have some of the altcoins coming, going up and showing a lot of strength, like Solana and some of the large caps that we covered earlier on in the video, as you can see. But what is ICP gearing up for to do? You can see that ICP is respecting support. It's respecting the 200 daily, guys, really nicely, and it's climbing above the to the top of the volume gap. Look at the top of the volume gap right here, which is at about $11.90 more or less. Okay, we can kind of give it a bit of wiggle room. As you can see, we do have the volume gap that kind of begins here. We do have this zone right here that we got to watch out for, that if we fall below and start falling through this empty volume gap, this spike of volume does show a little bit of market participation that could act as support. We do have more weakness below down here. As you can see, we could fall a little bit lower where we might want a DCA in this area. Let me get this green arrow in here. As you can see, this begins maybe a DCA zone because of the price action looking left. As you can see, the price fell really, really hard. So that means that we're not going to get much support, but ultimately as well, we do have levels. Previous price action right around this area that could be support zones, right? Support zones as well at lower levels. But guys, as long as we hold this zone above the 200 daily, bouncing off the 200 daily, above the thick white line, which are all these little bounces that we've gotten in the past, right on at the top of the volume gap, with all this market participation building over time, it suggests that what the market is preparing for is a pop to the upside. Now, one thing that we have to keep in mind, that it doesn't guarantee that we're going to get into price discovery, although that's what I would like to see. Although that's what we could see with Ethereum showing us that we're showing a bit of strength here, and including Bitcoin as well. The two heavyweights of the market are showing us strength, and the overall market cap, as I showed you earlier on, is slowly climbing up, which is very healthy. Where could we expect maybe even another right shoulder for a complex head and shoulders formation? What I mean by that is this: we have a shoulder, we got divergence, we got that shoulder, we got lots of little shoulders. Okay, fine. We have another shoulder right here. Do we come up, make another shoulder, maybe even another shoulder, and then basically we start looking at a complex inverse head, sorry, not inverse, but a complex head and shoulders formation. This complex head and shoulders formation could take a lot of time to build, and in fact the price could even come up to about 1540, get rejected, come back down, and go for a little while around here. And it's going to test the neckline, which is not the clearest, but at least the volume in the neckline is clear. You can see that there's empty volume gaps, and if we start falling below these levels, we're going to be breaking below necklines of this head and shoulders. The neckline would be so good if it was a lot more clear. Those wicks present a lot of ambiguity, unfortunately, including this previous price action, but still, guys, it's very clear in the sense that if we start breaking below these ranges, the risk is on for a potential dip down to about $6.80 and at about $8.60. You get what I mean? These levels right here. So this is what we're going to watch out for. But as long as we are above the 200 daily, again, I'm going to repeat myself, we have to remain bullish, right? Because risk to reward is healthy. If you get in right at this current level, let's say at about $12, more or less, you put a stop loss right at about $11 or slightly above. And if we break below, you're basically saying we're making a lower low. Cut myself off, get out of the trade. But if we remain above, we're remaining above these two lows right here. Sorry, not that. Let's show you what I mean. What's going on? Let me show you what I mean. These two bottoms right here, if we remain above them, or we do not make another lower low in comparison to these two lows, we're okay. Even this low right here, we're okay. So it's not a bad time to take risk. Basically, that's what I'm saying. It's not a bad time. Just understand that it starts to look very bearish when we break below the neckline. That's what inverse head and shoulders do, or regular head and shoulders. That's what they do. Necklines are critical. If they do not break, remain bullish in this case. And you can see the expansion just on this little dip that we've been having here is maybe matured enough that we're going to start seeing it taper to the upside as we have done in the past. As you can see, we tapered up and then all of a sudden we start to come down. In fact, we didn't even get a green expansion to the upside for a good while, and we can see that the trend is a bit confused. You know, are we moving up? Are we moving down? You can see the EMAs, the trend is not really giving us a signal. We do got a green histogram bar. We do see a bit of class B bullish divergence in the trend expansions. As you can see, the price is going sideways pretty much as the expansions are getting smaller. That's class C bullish divergence right here, which could give us a bit of an edge ultimately to see this thing pivot to the upside. Okay, and we're also seeing divergence also on the momentum. Look at the purple line, the last move to the downside. We're getting basically the momentum is making a higher low, while, you know, we're double bottoming or even making a slightly lower low if you want to consider, you know, the way the candles closed on this price action right here. So there is class A bullish divergence both on trend and momentum, which is interesting. We see the expansion in a very mature state, where in the past it did kind of bottom out. Maybe we start tapering up, and we do see the price action looking pretty good, respecting horizontal support right around that 200 daily EMA. So risk is due, risk is fine, but just understand position size matters. Okay, position size matters. Why? Because if we do come down to lower levels, you have a couple of decisions to make. Number one, where you're going to put your stop loss. It's got to be right around this level. Okay, you got to say, you know what, if we do not hold, this volume does not hold this the price up, then we're going to be falling to much lower levels, maybe down to about 580 or even lower. Okay, so we got to keep that in mind. Okay, number one. Number two, if you keep your position size small, at least you have capital reserve to be buying the dips at lower levels and accumulate at lower levels. Personally, in this current market, I kind of don't mind thinking about accumulation, because let's say we continue within this structure. Let's say that you buy the dip at the current moment, and we continue structuring out here, like I'm suggesting that we kind of like W out right into this area, like I'm saying, maybe get rejected right around here at the previous shoulder or whatever the case is. And that means that we have more opportunities to accumulate further at confirmations of horizontal support. Each confirmation justifies a further buy and a further exposure to the asset class or to the assets itself. So that means that if we do come down for another dip, I would be doubling down, tripling down, especially if we see signs of support. Now, if we do come down, you have to reserve that capital again, like I'm saying, but at least you're doing it over time, building confidence over time with the confluence of the chart, and that way you're taking risk bit by bit, not all at once. I like the 200 daily. daily. I'm giving a lot of value into that 200 daily, holding up the price action at the current moment. All right, guys, if I've offered you any value, do the channel a massive favor, slap up that like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord, guys. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Guys, join me tonight at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. I will be taking requests, so feel free to join. Take care, guys. Have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip.